Ladies and gentlemen, this is a story that's very important, that it's not being talked about, and this is probably one of the most important political stories of 2020, and it's what's going to help Trump get reelected. Now, white evangelicals voted overwhelmingly for Donald Trump, exit polls show. Okay, this is the Washington Post. He won the evangelical vote, but 80%, so 80% of evangelicals, what it says here, white evangelicals voted for President Trump. Okay. Now, the interesting thing, what they overlook, see, Democrats, what they like to do is they like to bully and demean and marginalize and mock and denigrate anyone who doesn't toe the party line or the prevailing narrative about who you should vote for if you are a certain background or ethnicity or race. What they don't realize is that church-going people, I'll just say church-going people and evangelicals and just anyone who goes to their place of worship often, generally are more conservative about a lot of issues, especially social issues, okay? The interesting thing is, it's not just white evangelicals that are voting for President Trump. And it's not just people who are Caucasian or white churchgoers voting for President Trump. It's a whole lot of people who view themselves to be evangelical or born-again Christian, or I'm not 100% sure of the difference between the two terms, but if you look at independent voters, this is important, okay? Because I'll read a 538 graph and then also a Roper Center research report on this. So independents in 2000, Clinton's going to be the nominee again. Now, the same thing's going to happen, but even more religious people are going to vote for Trump. It doesn't matter what your religion is, Jewish, Muslim, Christian, Hindu, Buddhist. Religious people generally are going to move away from the Democratic Party for a whole bunch of reasons. You could just give the reasons below that you think why. But this is really interesting. This is really interesting. Independents voted 46% for President Trump. He won the independent vote. Okay? He won the independent vote, and independents can't stand the Democratic Party. It's only getting worse. Now, here you go. This is interesting. March 2nd, okay, how Trump and race are splitting evangelicals, 538. Now, they talk about, okay, so white evangelicals, share of evangelicals who identify with each party by race. So he got 80% of white evangelicals, and if you add, so it's 50%, so 31% of the white evangelicals are independent. 49% are Republican. So if you add, that's roughly 80%. Now the independent the people who are religious or like religious Christian, evangelical or church going, you give me the delineation or what's the difference between those phrases. Or born again. I'm not 100% certain the differences between those denominations or words, but I can tell you that people who are religious of any religion are going to move away from Democrats. That's obvious. I don't really have to get into that. But look here. 69% of black evangelicals identify as Democrats. Now, however, check this out. 22% of black evangelicals are independent. 5% Republican. Now, considering that he won independence and generally here the information leans towards the conclusion that religious people who are independent, not affiliated with either party, are going to go for Trump, okay? That's almost 30% of black evangelicals will go for Trump. Okay? That's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. Millions of people. And so, why is that so interesting? Because I believe that black voters and Latino voters in general, so 30% of all Latinos and almost about 8% of black voters voted for President Trump. I think that more you're going to get more people. I would venture to say you'll get more people who will vote because there's record low black and Latino unemployment. Most Americans of all backgrounds don't care about Twitter. They just don't care about Twitter. But if you look at religious people of all backgrounds, they're going to vote for Trump because Democrats they've gotten worse from more of a conservative or socially conservative or religious perspective. And I'm talking about either, gay people who are Christian or view themselves to be, who are churchgoers and view themselves to be very religious. They're moving away from the Democratic Party as well. There are gay Republicans that are growing. Conservatives are growing in every traditionally Democratic Party dominated group. But here, let's just read this. So, if you look at Trump got 8% of black voters, 8%. He got more than Mitt Romney, which there's nothing special about Mitt Romney. I'm just saying that the economy is actually good. And if you're a black voter, or if you're a black citizen, African American, if you're Latino, Asian American, give me your thoughts. Are you going to vote for Trump again if you voted for Trump? And do you know more people who are going to vote for Trump? But this is just really interesting. Why is it interesting? If he gets a higher percentage of the overall African American and Hispanic vote, 28% of Latinos voted for, almost 30%. But what Democrats don't dominate. They dominate, yes, black evangelicals, but that's almost 30% of a segment of black voters. That's important for Trump. And then if you look at Hispanic evangelicals, and I know that in the Latino community, church and the black community, church going and going to church, and also the evangelical movement has grown greatly. 41% of independents, 41% of Hispanic evangelicals, according to 538, are independent, which if you're independent and you're evangelical, you're going to vote for Trump, almost certainly. Give me your thoughts. This is just, give me your thoughts below. But then 19%, so 60% of Hispanic evangelicals, 80% of white evangelicals. So it's not just when the Washington Post or the New York Times or the Atlantic, when they try to demean, the white evangelicals. 60% of Latino evangelicals are voting for Trump, and 30% and growing of black evangelicals are voting for Trump. Why is that important? Because Democrats and pundits just like to just paint this group of voters with one brush. That's it. Oh my goodness, they're compromising their value system because, Clinton, and she's running, obviously. Let's not joke around here. It won't be Biden or Warren. Are you kidding? She's going to run, and I called it. So I'm just going to pat myself on the back already. I called it already, so you could just say, HA, you called it. It's amazing. She's running. She could enter the fourth debate in October, November, December, early Christmas present, November. It'll be Clinton 2020. And this will be all your prayers and wishes to the evangelicals watching this that Clinton will run. I'm joking. But anyway, I think it's a very important segment of the population. And I think that it's important because they're completely immune. And I would say also religious Jewish people, Muslim people, all people who are religious generally are just not going to vote for the Democratic Party. We don't have to get into it. Obviously, they wouldn't. But it's a very important segment of the population that's going to vote for President Trump because they're absolutely immune to Democratic Party, media, Hollywood's propaganda, because they, their view of life comes from a higher authority. So they don't care about what media thinks. There are people, a great many Americans will be swayed. Taylor Swift, she just out the other day is like, I didn't vote for Clinton, but I'll do the best I can in 2020. It's like, the best you can? Oh, you mean you're alluding to Clinton running? Okay. Mariah Carey called Clinton Madam President. So you're gonna see Hollywood. Look, Hollywood, media, everyone who votes Trump is going to be a racist, tiki torch person beyond racist. They're going to be the worst, the scourge of humanity, and Jimmy Kimmel's going to tell you how horrible you are. But evangelicals don't care. Religious people in general don't care, of all backgrounds, because their lives revolve around, a higher authority, a higher being, and they don't really care about. See, that what I'm trying to say is they're completely immune from the Democratic Party and media and Hollywood and all of the intel chiefs, whatever. They're completely immune from this. Not to say that, I guess what I'm saying is that it's a very important base that is going to continue to vote Trump, and there will be more people. There will be more people who will vote. He'll get a greater share of evangelicals of all different black and white and Latino evangelicals and Asian evangelicals. It doesn't list here. It does not. I don't know why. It doesn't list the Asian evangelicals. Okay, so let's see. Asian evangelical Trump. Okay. So, and then you get the articles, why did evangelicals vote for Trump? Why did they do it? Hypocrites. No, actually, it's the Democrats who are hypocrites in every way. But let's just see here. That's also, I'm sure, a very high percentage. Okay. No, this is wrong. This is actually wrong here. So, just 15% of African Americans. Okay, so give me your thoughts below. Give me your thoughts below. I just the 538 numbers were from 2018. And I just think that he's going to get a much greater share. So the numbers might have been a bit different in 2016. Perhaps they were a smaller number of independent voters. But see, the thing is, it's not about GOP for Trump. That's the thing. I'm looking here. This is USA. White evangelicals just elected a thrice-married blasphemer. Should they have elected a destroyer of countries and a perennial scandal-ridden, lying, deceptive, conniving former diplomat who deliberately used private servers outside the United States government consistently without authority from the President of the United States of America transferring illegally top secret and special access program intelligence on servers running on Microsoft Exchange software for the whole world to see while they were unencrypted for 5 months. Who, like I said, destroyed Libya and called black youth super predators, while at the same time calling everyone she didn't like deplorable, and cheating Bernie Sanders and then blaming Russia, and then trying to thrust the United States into a new Cold War while her foundation received money from Russian lobbyists or from Uranium One. They should vote for that person. Ah, got it. Gotcha. Give me your thoughts below. If you are a religious person of every background, God bless you, and thank you for watching. And if you look also, this is interesting also. Trump. Let's just see. Catholics voted for Trump over Hillary 50% to 46%. It just, an average, 50% to 46%. But then, like I said, if you would break that down, anyone who would be more religious of a certain group is going to vote for Trump over the Democratic Party. And I think why did I do this segment? The segment I did this segment because I just think that he's going to get an even greater share of this important segment of the population. And also, in general, he's going to do extremely well. It'll be Clinton again. She will lose again. The Democratic Party will descend into madness and further despair and mayhem and chaos, which is fantastic. So you're going to need, I urge everyone to embrace a higher power this election and ignore all the negative influences. Because the guy below wants to, I don't know. The guy below is very likely going to, try to drive people nuts through Democratic Party media in the Hollywood. Give me your thoughts below. Check out H.A. Goodwin's other channel. I'll do a segment later tonight. Thank you so very, very much. If you want to support my voice long term, my Patreon is below. Give me your thoughts. If you are a religious person, are you going to vote for Trump? And do you know people who are going to vote for Trump? And do you know people who didn't vote for Trump in 2016 who will definitely vote for him over Clinton again in 2020 because she's going to be the nominee? Let's I called it. I'm just gonna take credit right now. Okay. Give me your thoughts.